So what we're going to be working on is in Adobe Photoshop. And Photoshop is one of the programs that I use all the time, and Adobe Illustrator. Really fun programs to use, but when you're following along, all you'll need is a pencil, paper, whatever you want to use. And this is the frog design. Really cool frog. Peep-a-hom again. And yeah, we can do that another time. Maybe we can get started on it today, but we're going to do an eagle design. So whenever you guys are ready, well, let's get to it. Now I have a blank piece of paper here. And yeah. So if you have any questions about Co Salish Art, yeah, it's symmetrical. The frog design is really symmetrical. And what I do with the frog design is I'll basically sketch out one side, and then on my computer, I can kind of flip it to make a mirror image. So that's why it does look symmetrical. That's a good eye for pointing that out. A lot of my work is symmetrical. In outline, so basically I did this design already, and it makes it easier for me to show you guys how to do this. So we're going to get started with the beak. Well, my pen's working. There we go. We're going to get started with the beak. And if I'm moving too fast, just let me know. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to ask, because I love it when you guys are interacting with me. And I know some of you have joined my sessions before, so you kind of know what Co Salish art kind of looks like already. We use a lot of trigons, crescent shapes, circles, so you're probably familiar with that. And
Obi, we do have some new students, so if you can explain what a trigon is.
Yeah, definitely.
You use it a lot in your art, please.
So when it comes to Co Salish art, we're working with a few different specific shapes. We're using trigons, which are these triangle shapes here. And you'll see a lot of these crescent shapes. Oh, my pen's skipping all over the place. We'll use those crescent shapes and circles, obviously. So a lot of those specific shapes have been used for hundreds of years through Co Salish art. And so when you look at old artifacts, Co Salish designs, you'll see a lot of these similar shapes used in the designs. So I like to incorporate that into my work because that's traditionally where I'm from. So I look at a lot of the older works. I wish I had some of that to show you guys right now, but I wasn't quite prepared to show you some of the older works that I look at to study from. But if you go to museums and like museums in British Columbia, Washington State, you can look through their archives and see a lot of Co Salish artifacts. And that's kind of what I use to look at to basically learn how to do Co Salish art. And you'll see a lot of the trigon shapes, the crescent shapes, the circles, all used within the animal designs. So I like to use those in my work. So this is the body of the eagle. And then we're going to do the wings. And I've been working on this design for a while because, like I said, I'm going to be using it for one of my apparel designs. And I do a lot of design work for a few apparel companies like Salish Style. That's one of the companies I've been doing work for about 5 years with. They make hoodies, backpacks, all types of cool stuff. And I get to put my artwork on that. And it's really cool to see other people wearing it. It gets me really hyped up. Did you just ask about Photoshop? Did you have questions about Photoshop? Elena?
Yeah, Elena, you did ask about Photoshop. I can send you a whole bunch of resources from Adobe. The only thing is Photoshop is a really super expensive program, and a lot of people might not have it, but maybe when Ovi is going through this, he can explain which tools he is using and which brush sizes, and maybe talk a little bit about layering. Would that help?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm just thinking to make it, I'd love to have someone teach you guys Photoshop, but it really is an expensive program. Okay.
I would definitely be into teaching about Photoshop, but like she said, it is an expensive program. Not everyone has access to it, which basically I do these so anyone with a piece of paper can follow. Which makes it a lot more fun, but maybe down the road we can get into like a detailed session about the programs that I use.
That would be great. So kids who are interested in that aspect of design could log in with that. And do you have Photoshop Elements, Obi?
No, I don't actually. I could if I wanted to, but I haven't used it actually.
Okay, because that might be a place to start.
Yeah, that would work.
Because that's only, well, it's still expensive.
Yeah, it is pretty expensive. There are ways around that, but I'm not going to say how to do that. But yeah, usually the best way is to pay for that.
Trial.
Yeah. So these are the wings of the eagle. We're only doing a couple wings. I like to keep things nice and simple. A lot of the old designs, you'll see multiple wings, like maybe 3 or 4. But we're just keeping this one simple. I'm going to be using this in a pattern design that I've been working on. And then we're doing the tail. And yeah, I actually did this design last night to prepare for you guys. So after we sketch it out, I'll show you guys what I did last night, the finished product. And then after we do the outline, we'll fill it with some detail, with some trigons and crescents. Just doing one more tail end here. Now, when I said the Helcamelum name for eagle, did any of you try and say it as well? Did any of you try and pronounce it in Helcamelum after I said it? And the Helcamelum name for it is Spockus. No, you didn't. And then we're doing the claw here. It's hard. Spockus. Spockus. Yeah, I'm still learning Halkamela myself. I learned it in elementary school, back when I was in Seabird Island, my hometown school. But after a while, I went to a different school, and they didn't teach Halkamela. So after a while, if you're not practicing it, you forget a lot of words. Like I learned French in high school, and I can't remember that much French at all. I'd have to take a good refresher course to bring that back to memory. Can any of you guys speak a different language? Oh, you speak French, Gabby? That's cool. I can probably only speak a little bit of French. All right, can you speak a lot of French? Oh, you speak French. Okay. Spanish and German. Whoa, that's cool. Kerrigan is learning Ojibwe. That's awesome. That'd be a cool language to learn. Yeah, it's really cool to learn different languages. So I'm really happy to be learning my indigenous language, Halkamalam. Now, what we're doing now is French. That's cool. Oh, I can't even pronounce that. What was that again? What we're doing now is a trigon near the eye. So it's like a triangle shape. And then we're going to do another triangle shape. And then a circle for the eye. That looks pretty good. And clean that up a bit. So are you guys keeping up with this, or am I going too fast? It's really cool to be sharing Co Salish Art with you guys. You need a sec? Okay. I'm just going to use my eraser to clean up some lines then. It's really cool to be sharing this with you guys, because when I first started out, I didn't really have a teacher or someone who knows Co Salish Art showing me. I was looking at other artists, and like I said, I was looking at like our ancestral designs from like 100 years ago, looking at artifacts to kind of understand what Co Salish Art was. So being able to do this and share the work with you guys is really cool. And graphic art too. When I was learning graphic art, all I didn't have a teacher. I just went to YouTube and I was looking up lots of Photoshop tutorials, Illustrator tutorials. I just spent hours and days, like I pretty much spent an entire year just watching tutorials and practicing every day. So all you have to do is just put in the practice at pretty much anything you do, and you'll get really good at it. And for those new to watching this, usually I'll do like a rough sketch like this, and then we'll clean it up after using the tools that I use in Photoshop to make it nice and clean, like the frog design that I showed you guys. So my rough sketches definitely look like this. The lines aren't that straight. Unless I was using like a ruler on pencil and paper, sometimes I use that. Sometimes I use stencils to make it look nice and clean. But usually I can just freehand it, because I know when I put it on my computer, I can just make it look nice and clean with some easy tools that I use. And there's like a smoothing option that can make you draw smoother lines as well. But sometimes that's kind of laggy when I use it, so I don't really use it that much. See, the line looks a lot cleaner, but it kind of slows it down, so I keep it like at minimal, half about. So we have the eye. That's a pretty good looking eye. And then we'll do the mouth. If some of you guys have followed me before, you guys know that the mouth kind of looks like an upside down Nike swoosh. And that's how we're going to do it. When we're done this eagle, you can feel free to color it in. Or we can do another. I think the frog design will probably take a while. So I'm not too sure if we'll have time for that. We might save that for another one. And frog in Halkameum is Peepaham. So if you can say Peepaham, that's pretty cool. I guess we'll do another trigon right here near the shoulder. And my next session, I'll probably show you guys some of the artifacts that I look at, the ancestral designs from like 100 years ago of Co Salish art, which helps me practice. Oh, you said Peepaham? That's pretty cool. Good job, Elena. Then we're just going to do kind of a sharp point for the shoulder. Oh, good job. Yeah, Peepaham is frog. Spockus is eagle. Oh, everyone's trying it out now. That's cool. Do you know what eagle is in French? I forget what eagle is in French. Then we're going to do some crescents for the wings. How do you spell it? Eagle, Spockus. Hold on. Let me see if I can. I'll put it on my. I'll type it out right here. That's S-P-O-Q-E-S. So Spockus is eagle. Then we're going to do some crescents for the wings. These kind of C quarter moon shapes. You'll see a lot of these on the older designs. And the crescents and the trigons can, when it's used in Co Salish art, it can be used for multiple things. Like it could be kind of to show motion within the design, because Co Salish art is all about flow. So these trigons and crescents, when put inside the animal, definitely give it more of a aesthetic vibe. It kind of shows motion. It could also show bone structures of the animal. And we're going to do another trigon shape. And there's a lot of different ways you can use these trigons. I like doing different variations of it. Did someone type out how to say eagle in French? Did I miss that? Or do you guys know?
We've got Aguila in Spanish,
Ah,
Megitsi in Ojibwe, Aiglin in French.
Megitsi. That's cool. Wow, that's good to know. And like this wing, we're just going to follow, kind of copy this. So it's going to be a few crescents. Oh, and I'd love to see your guys' work after this. She'll give you some details how to share your work. So I would love to see that. I would love to see how your guys' eagle turned out. Your Spockus. That's cool. I love doing animal designs. It's definitely one of my favorite things to do right now. I do a lot of logo work too. I've probably got like maybe 4 or 5 logo designs that I'm working on right now. And we just did a logo class, I believe the last one too. So it was really fun to share that with you guys. I do logos for a lot of indigenous businesses. So being able to incorporate Co Salish art into my career and design work is really cool. And if you get into Co Salish graphic art or whatever type of indigenous art that you're working on, there's a big need for that. Like I get work constantly being an indigenous graphic artist designer because it is something that's growing, but there's still a big demand for indigenous artists and designers especially that know about graphic work. So all the years that I spent practicing and getting better at this, you can definitely make money. Definitely make money. When I first started out, I wasn't making that much money, but after you do a couple jobs, then they refer you to more work and it just keeps growing. And I shared my work on Instagram before, and a clothing company seen that, and then they just asked me if I wanted to do work with them. So I was really fortunate to catch a break like that. And then I realized that doing art was definitely something I could do as a job, as a career. So I focused all my energy and attention into getting better at that and learning about graphic art and design. It's definitely something you can go to school for. There's lots of graphic design courses that you could probably take. But for me, I just self-taught a lot of YouTube tutorials. But I was definitely fortunate to kind of catch a break too. But anything you want to do, you just have to put the time and effort into getting good at. And if you do that, no matter what, something positive is going to come from that. So I definitely, like my full-time job is doing design work and art. So I'm very lucky and thankful to be doing something like this. Like I do logo designs for schools and colleges and different types of businesses. And then other artists will come to me with their painting and ask for me to digitalize it so they can print it on like t-shirts and cups and stuff like that. So I get a lot of work like that as well. Also, let me know if you guys need to catch up. Are you guys keeping up, or do you need me to slow down? You're good? Should I keep going, or should I wait a minute? Keep going? Okay. Like, I think, like, by this year, I'm going to basically be signed with altogether 4 apparel companies. Oh, you're moving to Seattle. That's cool. One of the companies that I do work with is based in Seattle. So by the end of this year, I'll have work with 4 clothing companies on top of all my other work. So things just keep getting better and better for me as a Co Salish graphic artist. Because like I said, there's a huge demand for being able to share your indigenous style work with everyone. We're doing a couple bigger crescent shapes here. One of my friends, when I first started doing graphic art, he went to school for graphic design. So he gave me a lot of pointers and tips and kind of showed me how to get started. And I just kept doing tutorials from there, like daily. Even if it was just a short tutorial, I was still doing something to stay practiced. Doing a couple more crescents, smaller ones on the tail. And then another trigon shape. You guys must be getting pretty good at doing the trigons and crescent shapes if you've been following me from the start. They're pretty easy to do. And if you have stencils or a ruler, you can make them look really nice and clean. These ones look pretty good for what we're doing. And then when we're done this sketch, I'll show you the design that I did last night. It's actually right underneath here. I just made it faint to follow the outline to show you guys how I drew it. Couple more crescent shapes, same as that top tail feather. And then another trigon. And then you can color this in. I did some coloring pages recently too. It'd be really cool to be able to share that with you guys as well.
Oh, we would love that, Ovi. We have a resource page.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we can add them there and the students can access them there.
Yeah, I forget what his name was, but he messaged me recently, and he is with the program, the Connected North program, and he asked me for coloring pages for his school up north in Canada. So I sent him a bunch. So it'd be really cool to share that with as many people possible. So this is looking pretty good. I'm liking how this is looking. And then we're going to do a couple more crescents by the mouth here. Clean that up with my eraser. Now, if you guys are going to color this eagle, what color are you guys going to use? Are you guys going to use a bunch of colors on this, or are you going to stick with just a couple colors? Oh, you're going to go with eagle colors. That works too. Make it a kind of a realistic looking, colorful eagle. I love playing with colors. When I'm doing design work, I spend hours just playing with colors. And I'm definitely going to be doing that with this eagle later on, because like I said, I'm going to be making a pattern with this. And I like my patterns to be really colorful. It's another kind of big C crescent shape. And there's our Spockus. That's Spockus. That's the eagle design. It's nice and minimal. And it's a clean looking bird. And then, yeah, later on today, I'm going to be working on a pattern for this. And hopefully it's going to be used on like maybe a jacket or a dress. I've been doing a lot of hoodie designs and t-shirt designs, backpacks. Yours is too small? That's okay. You can use it again to try and draw a bigger one. And then, let's see, where is my eagle design?
Ovi, if it's in a different program, you might have to stop sharing and then open up the new program and share again.
Oh, okay. I can try and drag it into here.
Yeah.
You have to go. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, Rael, we'll see you tomorrow maybe. We've got, we have bagpipes tomorrow. Oh, so excited.
Oh, bagpipes, that's cool.
Yeah, medieval music and dance tomorrow. I'm just telling Rael what we have tomorrow. We've got medieval music, which is really fun. Venomous animals. Venomous. And fitness with Michael Solomon, and Colleen's doing perspective, which would go, it's another art technique. So we'll maybe see you tomorrow, Rael. I know you usually show up for one or two. That looks really awesome, Ovi.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, this was done previously, and this is what the eagles should look like after I've edited it and cleaned the lines, and I added kind of a lightning bolt. So I'm going to be playing around with this eagle and make a pattern for it for, I don't know, something, maybe a hoodie, another hoodie design or something like that. So I definitely like what we created here. And I had the outline cleaned up underneath. And I'll kind of show you guys how I do that. So after the rough sketch, I would use this pen tool in Photoshop to make the lines straighter, basically. Nice clean lines. And yeah, it would be really cool to go through kind of a Photoshop tutorial. Maybe one day we can do that. But just doing it with paper and pencil, that's awesome too. I love doing that. But I've spent so much time, so many years now learning about Photoshop and Illustrator. So when it's time, I would definitely love to be able to share what I know. But what I'm using now is actually called the pen tool. And the pen tool is something that I use on the regular. Can I do a moth? Was that a moth design? Oh, it is super cool. Yeah. Thanks. A meoth. What is that? What is meoth? Did you mean moth, or is that in a different language?
Maybe mouse, Gabby?
Oh, the mouth?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. So the mouth of the eagle, if you know what a Nike symbol looks like, it's basically that, just upside down, but I can definitely draw it again to kind of show you. I'm just kind of going over the outline for this eagle. Kind of quickly. Just got to finish this wing. But just to use this pen tool, I watched a ton of tutorials how to use this, because when you first use a pen tool at first, it's kind of tricky, but it's definitely worth it. Like, I use this pen tool all the time. So this made the lines a lot cleaner. If I took my time, it would have been a lot more smoother, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys a quick demonstration.
And Elena, like what Obi said quite a while, a little bit ago, was he watched a lot of YouTube videos to learn how to do different features in Photoshop, and that's what I do. And I know a lot of my friends who are video editors and graphic designers. We watch a lot of YouTube videos, because if you have a question, I can guarantee you that somebody on YouTube has answered your question.
That's true.
And
you
if you
pretty much look anything up on YouTube.
Yeah, and if you go to adobe.com and you can look up they have a whole library of tutorials done on Photoshop, but I think you might like Photoshop Elements, because there's some really fun presets in there that you can use to edit your work and do some creations.
Yeah, definitely. I've watched endless amounts of tutorials on this. What I just did here was kind of the mouth design. Like I said, it kind of resembles an upside down Nike swoosh. Oh, my pen skipped. I practice drawing those a lot too. Mouth. There's a lot of different ways you can draw the eyes. So you notice on this one, there's a trigon shape, and then another trigon shape, and then a circle in between. On this one, it's a little bit different. Like you can see, they're kind of connected together, and then the circle is kind of a half circle. It kind of shows that the pupil is in there. So there's different ways to do it. That upside down Nike swoosh is kind of put a break in between the mouth and the beak. So there's ways that you can do that as well. So I like playing around with these designs for kind of a different look to it. Awesome, artist. Thank you. I love knowing that. Yeah, I spent so much time getting good at this, though. When I first started, I wasn't that good, but like with anything, all you got to do is keep practicing. I live in Indiana, the USA right now, but I'm originally from British Columbia, Canada. I've been living here in Indiana for about a year, living with my sister actually, and I've been able to work from home as a designer artist, so that's pretty cool. I spent a lot of my time doing, I was an industrial painter for about 9 years or 8 years before I was an artist. So I spent a lot of time doing different work. So I've only been doing art for about 6 years, but I found so much success with it doing graphic art. Was being an artist my dream? No, actually it wasn't, but I do come from a really creative family. I come from, like my mother was a writer and my father was a painter. So just the creativity just kind of runs in our family. My sister is a writer. My brother did a lot of art before too. So it just came kind of natural to me. But I never thought I'd be an artist actually. Like I said, I spent a lot of my years doing industrial paint, a lot of different kind of labor type jobs. I've worked at Home Depot, places like that. So I never thought in a million years that I'd be doing art. It's just something that I kind of seen as a hobby. And when I posted on Instagram, I realized that, a lot of other people liked it. So I thought maybe this is something I can really get good at and find success with and maybe even make a career. And I'm really glad I stuck with it because it definitely has turned into a career. Like it's my full-time job now. And yeah, you can definitely make a good amount of money from it because, like I said, there's a huge demand for indigenous graphic designers, especially. So put in the practice at whatever you think you want to do, and it'll definitely pay off. Like I think even before I started doing art, I bought myself a guitar and I watched a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to learn how to play the guitar and a lot of culinary stuff too. I was into learning how to cook different dishes. I watched a lot of YouTube on that too. So I spent a lot of time practicing different types of stuff. But then I realized that art and design was definitely something it was definitely going to be worthwhile to me. And it's given me the opportunity to share this work with you guys too, which is really cool. I never thought in like all my years that I'd be showing someone else how to do something like this. So this is really cool. Did any of you guys have any other questions about Co Salish art, graphic art, anything like that? Oh yeah, no problem. I love being able to share this with you guys. And we'll definitely be doing more sessions like this. Like we can do that frog design. The frog design, if we just did the outline of the frog, it would have probably only taken us maybe an hour. But if we added in all the color and the detail, like I probably spent a good maybe 2 or 3 hours on this design. Just playing with the colors especially. But this is another cool Co Salish style design. I kind of did a water background and used these crescents and triangles to kind of give a ripple effect. Like if a frog was jumping on a lily pad in the water, it would give a ripple effect. So that's kind of what this design depicts. So maybe in next session we can get into the peepahom, the frog design, or something else if you guys had something else in mind. But I would really love to see how your guys' eagle turned out.